burning too far from the entrance to the library to provide either assistance or exposure, as Maxim slipped a hand into his breast pocket and withdrew a set of lockpicks in a worn leather case. The thin metal implements had become old friends, having secured both his survival and his reputation at various points of his life. He could open a door or a drawer swifter than a rake could divest a virgin of her honour, and with fewer scruples. Other people's secrets were never safe with him. With practised fingers, blunt and bold, he reached out to trace the keyhole. Earnshaw would regret. At the slightest touch, the door swung inward a few inches, the only sound the catch of shock in Maxim's throat. Confronted with the unexpected liberty to search, he was suddenly no longer sure what he really sought. After sending a glance over his shoulder, he sidled through the narrow opening into the library and shut the door behind him. For half a moment, he fancied he was alone in the pitch-black room. Then he caught a whiff of smoke, the acrid hint of a recently snuffed candle. "Who's there?" The voice, a young woman's, came from across the room and to his left. He turned toward her automatically. "You'd have your answer already, ma'am, if you'd kept your candle lit." She laughed, a low, genuine sound he had not expected. Over the past week and a half, 11 days to be precise, he had become well acquainted with the species of feminine laughter known as a giggle. From what he had been able to make out, giggling was intended to attract the gentleman's notice, an effort in which it nominally succeeded, for such a grating noise proved difficult to ignore. A pity that no one seemed to have explained to the young women that what they really sought was a gentleman's unwavering attention. Well, this young woman had his attention now. Her throaty laugh shot through him, accompanied by a bolt of lust. "An excellent point, sir," she conceded, her voice closer now. The room must be familiar enough to her that she could navigate around its furnishings without benefit of sight. She had the advantage of him, then. He still could make out nothing. Only a trio of tall windows on the opposite wall hinted at anything less than utter blackness. "I put out the light because I thought you were my father, come to order me back to bed." He'd been introduced to every one of Earnshaw's guests, but in his mind, the half-dozen or so young women were still an undifferentiated huddle of silliness. In the drawing-room and at dinner, clad in pale gowns, their feathered headdresses tipped together, they reminded him of nothing so much as an unruly brood of clucking hens. Now he found himself wishing he had looked closer, or listened more carefully. Then he might have been able to recognize this one, despite the darkness. "I'm not your father." He spoke low, his gravelly voice little more than a growl. He bit back the temptation to make some remark about ordering her to bed anyway. Another laugh, this one a shade less confident. Almost a giggle. Perhaps she'd begun to consider the risks of being a young woman alone, in the dark, with a stranger. "Good. I'll just go," she whispered, brushing past him on her way to the door, close enough that he smelled her rosewater perfume. Her hand must have trembled when it at last found the doorknob. It rattled loudly in the quiet room as she fumbled to open it, not once, but 3 times. The final attempt was accompanied by a low moan of something very like terror. You've locked us in, sir." "Nonsense." He too reached for the doorknob and caught her hand instead. She jerked away as if scalded. Grasping the brass oval, he twisted hard. Foolishly. He of all people should know that opening a lock was rarely a matter of strength, and felt the knob come loose in his hand. He swore. She did not, as he'd half expected, suck in a sharp breath, or scold him, or faint. Instead, her sigh was thick with exasperation. "You've broken it entirely, haven't you?" And then she swore too, a more delicate epithet rather than an oath, but still outside the bounds of lady.